Hey, today we've got news about a major loss with the new major order. We got a response from the community manager about taking in feedback on improving the galactic map. Not to mention, there are players who are upset with the developers' comments. Plus, that's not all. There's even more to discuss. If you enjoyed the content, please show some love by hitting the like button. I really appreciate it. Let's jump right in. We're kicking off today's video by discussing why players are suddenly upset about recent comments from a particular developer. The discussion began when players started posting screenshots from the official Helldivers Discord about the Epoch and Demolition Force. I'll share a few examples here and go over the comments posted about the situation. I'd also love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if you think this is something worth being upset about and what your thoughts are in general. Anyway, we can see the first post on Reddit has 7,000 upvotes and the second post has almost 10,000 upvotes. This Helldiver stated that it didn't end well with the previous time this developer made a comment about the war bond. They showcased a screenshot in the middle displaying a comment from the developer, which you can see here. Alexis basically described the Epoch's plasma realism, explaining that the plasma is weightless, it's made to cook enemies, and shouldn't be able to destroy reinforced doors. This apparently didn't sit well with fans and players alike, considering the number of upvotes and the comments expressing disappointment with the Epoch. For example, one comment said they wish the developers would use words like balance instead of realism, since it's their game and they decide how things work, but they're neither scientists who have worked on plasma nor armor technicians, which is why this Helldiver wants them to just use the word balance. Another Helldiver pointed out the developer's plasma comment about how it's practically weightless and essentially question if the plasma is weightless, then why does the Punisher plasma shotgun projectile arc down when fired instead of firing straight forward? Since the fact it arcs downward means it's affected by gravity in some way. They'd also like it if the Epoch could close holes, and if they changed that, they'd be happy with it. Then there's one more comment I'd like to bring up since it's an ongoing discussion. Lastly, there's a Helldiver who basically is confused about how the Epoch can one-shot Hulks, but for some reason cannot be used to destroy container doors. So yeah, it's a tough situation going on. There are more comments like the ones I've shown thus far, and my opinion is that I believe they'll change the way the Epoch works eventually. For example, they've changed how things worked in the past based on how players react to each Warbond release. They adjusted the armors from Masters of Ceremony, they made some adjustments to the pacifier stun effect from Force of Law, and I don't think it'll be any different now. I personally would like to see the Epoch's AP charge decrease so that you don't have to fill it all the way up to the red mark to inflict enough damage to one-shot enemies. It'd be nice if it was lowered a tad so that it can be charged around the same red spot like the railgun. With all that being said, like I mentioned earlier, do you think it's worth being upset about? Do you think the comments are justified? Let me know your response in the comments below. Moving along, we're now going to go over some news today about the latest major order. It's not looking good at all. We've lost some planets that are going to cost us a lot, such as Claurel, aka the Deep Mantle Forge Complex, and we've lost control of Yellowver. It's likely only a matter of time before we lose Tarsh and Mastia. You can see in the bottom right of the screen the dispatch informed us of those losses. And we've also got a debuff that's going to affect the Democracy Space Station quite a lot. The tactical action resources now require 25% greater cost, and the cooldowns for the Democracy Space Station have also been affected for 24 hours. Now, if we lose Mastia and Tarsh, the situation is going to get worse, and it's going to be tough to recover from such a huge loss like that. I've seen comments on the official Helldivers Discord about how there needs to be a better way to give word to Helldivers on which planets need to be liberated or attacked when a major order is active. The thing is, they've done a decent job of explaining what to do in the dispatch, yet I'd say a majority do not read the dispatches, or they do read them and just ignore them. Now, I know there's a good portion of you that read it and react to it by going to those planets, but overall it's not enough to actually help us succeed. Now, I also saw that the community manager Baskiner spoke on this when she responded to a player. She said she's amazed at how well we've been collaborating on major orders, and that in the last year or so, those collaborations have been happening on a huge scale. She also noted that she can't force, or that they can't force players to play Helldivers 2 in a particular way, or they'll lose players. There was also a comment from Helldiver that said if they were to display a companion app display in game, players wouldn't bother since too much info will hurt and that there needs to be a balance. Basconeers saw that post and said that if the day comes when they give us all the information we're hoping for, or possibly the dream of having that information on the galactic map, we might still be disappointed because of how players will end up choosing how to play. Anyway, in another post, someone asked if they'd ever consider adding the same type of information that the Helldivers Companion app has to the game, possibly using the terminal on the opposite side of the armory for the information. This post got a response from Basconeers saying that she'll pass the request about having more details on the galactic map for major orders, and that they don't want to do it and then not do it right. So I certainly believe that if they add a better incentive for completing major orders, that'd be enough to motivate players to participate. For example, I've said this before, but I'll say it again, they could include either more samples for those who want them for donating to the DSS or upgrading their ships. Or they could even add super credits too. Maybe they could go as far as making it an option so when you complete the major order, you can choose one or the other, such as more samples or super credits. You'd also get medals as well, whether you pick samples or super credits. Also, not to mention including special rewards wouldn't hurt either, like earning a new stratagem, a new skin for a vehicle, or a new skin for the Liberated Penetrator, for example. You know, something different. Of course, I'm just spitballing ideas here. I think that could motivate a lot of Helldivers to participate. But feel free to post a response below if you have any ideas or thoughts about this. Okay, before we continue along, I'd like to let you know that they're constantly looking at feedback regarding stuff that we wish to have in game. Basconeer confirmed this by stating that the team tries to gather as much of the community's wishes as they can in a weekly sentiment report that they put together on Mondays. Then they have a weekly recap on Fridays to catch other things. She also mentioned that she spends a lot of time reading, not talking, on Discord because she's gathering raw feedback. It's also something she does on Reddit, YouTube comments, such as mine and others, as well as what players send to her in direct messages. Overall, it seems they're paying attention to what players want. They do react well to the feedback once they've gotten enough and know what to do next. I think in the end, they're going to do right, listen to the community, and react by changing stuff. Whether that's on the galactic map, warbond items such as the epoch, or other things. I truly think sometimes they miss the mark on how weapons behave, but they also do a great job of listening to what players want, and they end up correcting the weapons by changing them around for the better. I don't think they're intentionally trying to upset anyone. However, I know that they're a small studio still and slowly growing over time. There's only so much they can get done in a week or within a week. It's not like they're a massive studio. Now, I'm not trying to defend anyone, but at the same time, I can completely understand that they're only human and it's difficult to get so much done in a week. It's not physically possible for them to get tons and tons of work done within a certain number of days. It's just not possible given how many developers and employees they might have. If they were to grow and had a bunch of developers and still couldn't get enough done, then at that point I'd question a lot and I wouldn't be able to understand why they couldn't get as much done. Alrighty, switching gears, we know that there's a new feature with bunkers allowing us to grab rewards from the inside since it wasn't possible in the past, and plus, the developer confirmed it's a new feature. Unfortunately, it seems that we can't do this in city biomes as of right now, as you can tell from this example here that this player said they were not able to pick up any of the rewards in city missions. Hopefully they're considering fixing that as soon as possible. For now, you might want to ignore bunkers solo if you're using the warp pack, or otherwise have a player nearby to help you open the bunker so you can get inside. On a related note, we do have an updated known issue list here. The developers have informed us that there is some issues with the new passive in terms of audio problems. Apparently that can happen when extracting, so if you have done that recently and you've noticed some issues with it, just know they're aware of it. Maybe it'll get resolved soon, maybe it won't, we don't know. You guys know how things are with bugs, and sometimes they have to prioritize which ones are worth fixing first. On a different note, we do have a message here from senior material artist Romain, and he posted this on ArtStation detailing that they only had 4 months for the initial brief to release the new colonies and city biomes and all that other stuff. And it's very interesting that they only had 4 months, given how small their studio is, to produce something really awesome like city biomes and colonies and whatnot. So very cool. Lastly, for today's video, we've got the top 3 comments. We've got a comment here from Broadwater5218 that basically talked about him and a random player were fighting on a mega city, max difficulty, and some random third person joined and said, do they want to see something cool, and crashed their games. I'm guessing that's back when the whole issue was going on with the flag stratagem. So that might be why, unless there's some other way to crash games now. If so, I've got no idea. The second top comment comes from Dark Dragon CB that brought up there's a small detail in the recent patch where Helldivers are no longer able to type on the Hellpod when talking in chat, and that it's not the end of the world, but it took months for those animations to get fixed. Yeah, unfortunately, it's probably going to take a little bit longer. You know how they have different priorities and different things that they want to fix. The last and final comment is by Pickle Gamers 7450 that spoke about grinding for super credits, and they were with their friends, found a pickup that only gave them 1 whole requisition slip. That's insane. I think the most you're able to get is what, 10? 50? I forget. But yeah, that's crazy. Anyways, hope you have enjoyed the video. If you have, support the channel by tapping the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications if you haven't already. As always, I appreciate everyone from subscribers, members, and even the lurkers. I always give you guys a shout out, everyone that supports the channel. So thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.